What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Catching Up with Cody podcast. My name is Cody. Episode 1, pretty much just introducing myself and what this podcast is going to be about. So I used to do a podcast with my buddy, and it just got to be too much between both of us working, doing editing, posting, and everything like that. So we decided to kind of pass on that one. But I did still like doing the podcasting ideas, and it was just something fun as like a hobby to do. So I decided to make my own podcast. So here we are now. Podcast is mostly going to be about sports. Speaking of sports, Lions looking really good. So hopefully they can keep that up. I'll actually talk about them on this podcast. And also just life in general. I mean, positives, negatives, where I see myself in the future, and just overall, just having fun with it. So, like I said, I had a lot of fun with the old podcast. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what this one has to offer for us. So, let's get into it. All right. Well, on today's episode, we're going to talk about We'll start with the Detroit Lions. Great season so far. When I make this podcast, we are currently 7-1 going into Houston. Looking good. I mean, offense is good, defense is good. We just picked up Za'Darius Smith. Still have to do a little bit of research on him. But everything I've been seeing, he's looking like a stud. We definitely need it with Aiden Hutchinson being out, not going back till the Super Bowl. Crazy to think that the Lions and the Super Bowl are in the same sentence. But Dan Campbell's turned this thing around. Like I said, offense is looking really good. We got Jared Goff, just MVP type season. Montgomery and Gibbs, they're nicknamed Sonic and Knuckles. Actually, it's hilarious. It works. I mean, they're just the 1-2 punch dynamic duo, whatever you want to call them, doing a great job. So overall, I mean, I see them with the schedule they got. I can see them only maybe losing to Buffalo. Buffalo's a good team, tough team, but overall, I mean, I can see them losing maybe 2 total games, if not 3. But yeah, it should be a good season. So I'm looking forward to see what we do, and hopefully we'll have a Lombardi Trophy in Detroit. I really think it's crazy that the Lions turned their season around that fast. I believe it was 3 years. Yeah, because we were 3-13. Then last year was our trip to the NFC Championship game, which that needs a whole episode itself to talk about. You're up 17 points at halftime and just completely forget how to play football in the second half. That can't happen. But we've seen Dan Campbell, turn this team around. And then this year we're Super Bowl favorites, I believe. Us and obviously Kansas City sitting at undefeated season. Kind of shocked with how not used Travis Kelce is. Fantasy owners know that. I personally know that from having him on my fantasy team and him absolutely just disappearing from the game of football. But whatever works for their team and however it works. But my prediction, I can see the Lions and Kansas City being in the Super Bowl. I can even see us winning it. It's going to be close. A couple of years ago, last year, when we played them in the first game of the season, we showed that we can hang with the big boys now. So we'll keep this up for a while. I'm hoping for the next few years we're going to be contenders. I know with Goff getting up there in age, cap space, and everything like that, but I think this team can do it. I know Ben Johnson. They've been talking about him taking some head coaching jobs, which I understand, but he had a shot to leave last year with some head coaching jobs, and he chose to stay with Detroit. And I think that's he's looking for a winning culture, and that's what we are. And I can see him staying hopefully for another couple years until we start going back on a decline, which hopefully won't be for a while, but you never know. So, but overall, great team. I'm happy to see him succeed. And we got two sports teams that are actually on the rise: the Pistons and not the Pistons, the Tigers and the Lions. Pistons are looking good this year, but last year they did the complete opposite of winning games. So, but we'll have an episode on them. New coach, young team, bright future. So keep it up, Detroit teams. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the most shocking of the Detroit teams, well, last year was the Lions. This year, I would say, is the Tigers, going well above and beyond anybody's expectations. I mean, nobody thought they were going to make playoffs. They were just young core trying to get together, see if they can mesh well, and clearly they did. I mean, would it have been nice for them to get to the World Series? Yeah, but I mean, the winning streak that they were on toward the end of the season and into the playoffs, and to shock Houston, I mean, they should have shocked Cleveland, but you know, they tried. But I like their future. Lions' future is looking good. Like I said in the earlier, Pistons are looking good so far. I think I saw a stat where it was January 15th or 16th when we got our fourth win, and we are in the second week of the NBA season, and we already have our fourth win. So my road to 10 wins is obviously going to get surpassed. So just quickly looking at the standings, at this time, I mean, Detroit's at 6-7 area, but they're even with everybody from, I believe it's 3 down to 5, all have the same wins. And there's a couple shocking teams. The Milwaukee Bucks are down at the bottom, I believe, with 1 to 2 wins, as well as Philly with 1 to 2 wins. But Philly right now is a dumpster fire with Embiid not playing and being hurt / suspended. Paul George coming back from his injury. So Detroit's got a real shot this year to at least make the play-in tournament and or playoffs. I mean, I'd be fine this year with them making it into the play-in tournament and going up against, I mean, our best shot is Indiana. Opening night for them was good. I mean, I know we lost, but they played hard, fought hard. 2 11-point leads that they had and gave up. That can't happen. But Indiana, I can see us beating Miami. I mean, honestly, if Milwaukee's in there or Philly at that time, I can see us beating them too. I mean, the team's just gelling perfectly. Cade's having a great season. Hopefully he can stay healthy. That's the big if factor, unfortunately, with him having 2 significant injuries the last 2 years. Jaden Ivey finally getting playing time. Monty did not like him for whatever reason. Still don't understand that, but it works. JB Bickerstaff is using him and Cade as a dynamic duo, which needed to be used earlier. Like I said, Monty Williams for some reason didn't like Jaden for whatever reason, but we're good so far. We have Azura Thompson coming back hopefully soon, with the blood clot issues. Hopefully he gets that all figured out and can come back to basketball. And I mean, Ron Holland looking good. Haven't paid attention as much as I wanted to. I'm going to start trying here within the next week or so, looking at these teams and looking at the standings and everything and going from there. But overall, I'm hoping the Detroit teams have a good thing going for them. So yeah, I know it was just a quick podcast this week, but just want to kind of introduce you guys to the new pod and kind of ease my way into it and hopefully get one out every week, every 2 weeks. Still kind of playing with do I want to do video or just audio or both? So this one's going to be a just audio podcast to start episode 1, but love to hear you guys' feedback, and thanks for catching up with Cody.